Assalamualaikum viewers, it's me Tooba Kazmi. Welcome back to my channel Educational Exposure. I hope you all will be fine. This lecture is specially recorded for first year students. I'll try to share more and more information with you. Don't forget to subscribe my channel and press the bell icon for latest updates. Growth is next characteristic of living things. All living things are grow in size. Animals grow at certain height while plants can grow throughout the life. Growth depends upon anabolic pathways. It involved in synthesize complex molecules from simpler ones such as DNA from nucleic acids, protein from amino acids and other nutrients. Growth can be defined as a permanent increase in size and dry mass by increase in cell number or cell size or both. In biology, the respective means of growth within an organism varies from organisms to organism. For instance, think of a newly born baby. It has all the features of fully grown adult bird. They are very tiny. As the years go by, they become big and become a young person like you, and later on into a fully grown adult maintaining all features that are born with. This is growth. In some organisms, growing involves drastic transformation. Think of a butterfly for instance. Yes, it starts off as a cell called egg, then it transforms into a caterpillar and then into a pupa, chrysalis, and then pops out a beautiful butterfly. Plants often start from a tiny seed and grow into a big tree. One thing common to all organisms is that they grow or develop to look just like their parent species. There may be some slight variations resulting from mixing of cells by parent. What are the needs of living things? Yes, for most cells to grow and divide, they need energy provided by food, oxygen, and water. While different living things eat different foods, food is the source of organisms compound that combine with oxygen to release carbon dioxide and energy. If the cell material is made up of specific compounds or elements, these have to be supplied in food as well. For example, to produce bone, a cell needs calcium. We must take calcium containing elements in our diet. For muscle cell, protein is necessary. Reproduction. The reproduction is next characteristic of living things. All living things can reproduce themselves to create new organisms. It is necessary for continuity of organisms. It can be defined as it is a process of making a copy of something. Reproduction can be either asexual or sexual. In asexual reproduction, offspring arise from a single organism, while in sexual reproduction, offspring arise from two organisms. Here we discuss first asexual reproduction. There are different methods of asexual reproduction. The first method is binary fission. Binary fission, we can say that division in half. In binary fission, a single cell divides into two parts. In the process of binary fission, an organism duplicates its genetic material or DNA. Each new organism receiving one copy of DNA. An amoeba can divide itself into two at any plane. It can produce new organisms. The next method of asexual reproduction is budding. It involves in the formation of new organism from point of parent organisms. Tiny bump appears on parent hydra. Parent hydra develop bud. Bud grows and develop mouth and tentacles. Bud break off to become independent hydra. It is called budding. The next method of asexual reproduction is fragmentation. It is defined as a form of asexual reproduction wherein a parent organism breaks into fragments, each capable of growing independently into new organisms. Each of these fragments develop into matured, fully grown individuals that are identical to their parents. Sexual reproduction in Angiosperm life. The adult or sporophyte phase is the main phase of an angiosperm's life cycle. As with gymnosperms, angiosperms are heterosporous. Therefore, they generate microspores which will produce pollen grains as the male gametophyte and megaspore which will form an ovule that contains female gametophytes. Inside the entire microsporangia, male gametophytes divide by meiosis to generate haploid microspore, which in turn undergo mitosis and give rise to pollen grains. Each pollen grains contain two cells, one generative cell that will divide into two sperm and a second cell that will become the pollen tube cell. The ovule sheltered within the ovary of the carpel contains a megasporangium protected by two layers of integuments in the ovary wall. Within each megasporangium, a megaspore site undergoes meiosis, generating 4 megaspores, 3 small and 1 large. Only the large megaspore survives. It produces the female gametophyte referred to as the embryo sac. The megaspore divides 3 times to form an 8 cell. The mature embryo sac contains 1 egg cells, 2 synergids, helper cells, 3 antipodal cells, and 2 polynuclei in a central cell. After fertilization, the zygote develops into an embryo with a radicle or small root or 1 or 2 leaf-like organs called cotyledons. The zygote formed divides and develops into an embryo and later into a seed. The ovary develops into a fruit, and thus in this way the process will start again, and this is called life cycle of angiosperm plants. In order to form a zygote, male gametes in pollen grains have to fuse with egg in the ovule. This is achieved by the process called pollination. Pollination is a process of transferring pollen grains from the anther male part of the flower to the stigma female part of a flower. There are two types of pollination: self-pollination and cross-pollination. Self-pollination, a pollination where the pollen's transfer takes place between the anther male reproductive part of flower and stigma female reproductive part of flower of the same flower, as shown in the diagram. The next is cross-pollination, a pollination where the pollen transfer takes place between the anther and the stigma of different flowers of the same plant or different plants of the same species, as shown in the diagram. If you liked it, don't forget to hit the bell icon for more updates. Thank you.